Thank you all so much for joining us. My name is Dee Dwyer. I am a photographer and director from Southeast Washington, DC, so welcome to my city here, I'm from here. And today's talk, we're just going to be talking about the importance of visual documenting, okay? We're both photographers. I'll let this young man introduce himself, and yeah.
Alright, I'm Darnell Smith. I go by Viva Ventura as a photographer name. From DC, born here, officially raised. I like to shoot. It started as videography and it kind of just spawned into photography. It's just branched off into just wanting to be able to capture and shoot a lot of things. And I find the time to shoot whenever I get the free time. I have a busy, hectic schedule. I'm also a member of the fire department here, which keeps me pretty busy. That's pretty much my story now. Also taking care of the younger one who's back there with his mom. So pretty hectic schedule, trying to squeeze everything in.
Amazing. So I'm gonna ask some questions here to add to. And I guess can you crack the door so people can hear us talking and come on in? You don't have to open it too wide, but you can crack it. Because we're gonna we have a lot to talk about. All right, so I'm gonna ask you, when and why did you begin to take photos?
Let's see, when is probably why. I think this was probably after college. Started doing videography in college. This is actually a brother right here who I was doing videography with in college. I switched over to photography pretty much after that because I just needed I needed a quicker turnaround time. It took a longer time to do videos as much as I loved them. As much as I loved to do videography, it just took a long time to get my videos and turn around back to fine. So I also found a liking in muralist photography. So I wanted to do that, and it actually kind of changed. It's quicker turnaround time. It's actually what I wanted to do. That's the side effect. I think that's probably around 2017 or something like that.
Right. So for me, I picked up my first camera when I was like 16 years old. I'm 34 now. So that was quite some time ago. And I don't know, are you all familiar with, this is gonna be like a call and response, okay? We're in it together. Have you all ever heard of go-go music? Okay, so I first picked up my camera because I was inspired by the go-go. So like, when you go to the go-go, it's literally like a go-go booth. It's a picture booth. There's like a little backdrop. People go in front of it, take pictures, get your pictures. Like if we leave go-go, sometimes instantly. And for me, I grew up in a tough environment. And I used to see like the toughest guys, the toughest girls, just smile at this picture booth. So that's when I recognized the power of the camera. So as a teenager, I would go to Rite Aid. I remember Rite Aid. Actually, used to be a Rite Aid down the street. I used to go to, you may still be there. Anyway, I used to, it's still there? Alright, so I used to go there and then the CVS, not too far from my house in Southeast, get a Kodak camera, go around different neighborhoods, uptown and the Southeast. This is uptown where we are. And I would take pictures of people in different communities. I'll get it developed and then I will come back around and pass everybody their pictures. To this day, I want my pictures back because it's worth so much now. But I would just do this. This was my like weekly routine. And then I wanted to be a lawyer because a lot of my friends, family members, they were, getting locked up. I saw how they were unfairly treated by the police. So I told them, I'm gonna go to law school and become a criminal defense lawyer. I went to school, undergraduate, started taking up political science classes, and I don't know, I got inspired by Spike Lee. I loved that he represented Brooklyn I love that he told stories of where he was from. When I was in college, everybody would say, where are you from? DC. They would always talk about the White House. They would never acknowledge my community. So at that moment, being inspired by Spike Lee, and just thinking that just saying that so many people from different places had the wrong, I guess, perception of DC, or only one perception of DC, which was the government. I said to myself, I'm going to go to art school, and I'm going to take up filmmaking, and I'm going to show the world what's happening behind the White House, because they obviously don't know, right? So I decided that I was not going to be a criminal defense lawyer. I was bored anyway. So I tell my friends that was incarcerated, my family members, look, I'm going to tell our story a different way. Like, I'm going to go to film school, I'm going to make movies, and that's how, I'm going to bring awareness to our situation. So I went to film school, the Arts and Humanities. I went to school in Miami. And when I was there, I had to take a black and white film photography class where we had to shoot with the Canon 81, develop our own film in a dark room, and I felt in love with that process. So I was about to leave film school and transfer over to still photography because I just love still photography. So I was like, I can't lose any more credits. So I just went ahead and followed through with my filmmaking degree and became a housewife, created these two beautiful kids for 7.5 years. And if you know me, you'll be like, going to the door. A housewife, what? Yeah, it's crazy. Yes. But anyway, I became a housewife, and then I decided I just wasn't living out my true self, y'all. I wasn't telling the stories that I can want to write. I just wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, but I knew what I was supposed to do. So long story short, I wasn't supported by my spouse. Left that situation, I chose photography. This was in 2015. I chose me. Picked up a camera, went to Brazil, got inspired, came back, did a portfolio review. I'm sorry, this is long, but I gotta know this. Did a portfolio review, and I met Dudley Brooks, who is over at the Washington Post, and I showed him my images that I was taking from different places, like different islands and stuff, thinking that, that was the way to get in the industry. And Dudley sat down with me, and he was just like, Dee, you're from Southeast. You're telling the stories from everywhere else. You need to tell the stories of Southeast. So I was just like, wow, he literally booked me back home. And I just started documenting, where I'm from. And ever since then, I've just been doing my thing. Last year, I was on the front line doing protests. I've been on the front line in protests in DC for years, because let's be real, the DC protest. That's the regular.
That's actually when I first started, it was the alt-right protest. Actually,
that was a couple years ago.
That was a couple of years ago. I saw you doing the event. I saw you actually forming, putting people in a position of where, making silence is just being on purpose and effectively from Instagram and all that. So that was around the time when I first started to pick up on you. That was the first time I saw you in person.
Oh, thank you. That's why I'm serious.
Before that, I did notice your works with beautiful works on. You said, I think I saw Cuba, Jamaica, a lot of beautiful artwork, pictures from this and that. A lot of that stuff was what inspired me.
Oh, thank you. All right. So now y'all know how I got here. It's been a long journey. And I hate to say all that to say that it just doesn't happen overnight. You just gotta go through so many hurdles to get to where you are. I guess, let me see. Oh, and just by last year, my work has been everywhere. Vogue, New York Times, the New Yorker, the Wall Street Journal, everywhere.
So I can actually piggyback off that start when you said how Google kind of got you started in photography, because that actually got me started in videography and documentation. Because coming up in DC, I actually performed and played in a couple of go-go bands, Wild Boys go-go band. We were specifically in North Carolina, so there's a bunch of people who were highly populated, had a high population of people from the district in North Carolina Central. And the North Carolina A&T, pretty much around in that whole area. So we formed a little band, We went through that, and we went through those stages, and pretty much after that, I kind of wanted to document the shows, the performances, and it worked out for me. And this is my brother right here. I mentioned earlier, he's still actually doing it. We knew when when the music would change because we played in a band. We knew where to point the camera at certain points of times of the show, just because we knew what was going to happen. We knew the band, we knew the feel for both of them. And that really went big. We posted our videos on YouTube. It was on the WBMG. There's still some work. It's still going strong. And that kind of started me with the videography. And then, like I was saying, it kind of got tougher with me with time because doing the go-go stuff, a lot of that was free. And we did it because we wanted to do it. We did it because it was fun. And as getting older, we get more bills. And you really, as I call it, it was a community service to our community. But we weren't getting paid for it. And, we should. So, I had to branch off to other things. Photography was a quick turnaround time for me. So I actually still went to the go-go, still documented the go-go's, but it was more so photography and that type of format. So that was kind of like the start.
Yeah. I love your images, by the way. When I see a Viva image, I know that that's a Viva image, And I feel like that's the important thing about being a photographer. Like a lot of people, they want to blend in. We don't need to. But your work stands out. I truly respect it on this time. So I'm gonna go into another question. Hello to everyone that is joining. I'm Dee Dwyer, photographer director.
Viva Ventura, photographer.
Yep. So we're talking about the importance of documenting our existence using photographs. Okay, so which photographers influenced you?
Oh, let me tell you, I actually got a list. It's a couple. Let's see. Sam photography is going to be one of them. My boy Sam, he was one when I first got my camera, he was pretty much doing what I wanted to do. I'm still kind of intimidated by weddings and things like that, but he was able to pretty much knock them out.
Oh no, Sam, that's my homie.
Yeah, that's Sam. So he's an influence on Shaheed. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if familiar with him. He's an Instagram photographer. Well, he is a photographer, but a lot of his shots are just really, really sharp. Pretty much any photographer who's using mirrorless technology, because those are the type of shots that I aspire to achieve. Jeffrey Shells, he's a former firefighter, he retired. He takes really, really good portraits. And Adam fella, he's gonna kick me with his fella Connie, but he goes by his IG tag is Sun Guy. So if you peep some of his photos on Instagram, he was one of the ones that really inspired me. And also you, just like I said, seeing some of your shots, just being overseas, you actually inspired me to take my camera to Mexico. Because at first I wasn't really too big on taking my camera. I just put it on a plane and taking it overseas. I was kind of worried about that. I talked to you about it. And I can't remember, it was a while ago, but I ended up doing that. Maybe capture some shots.
Oh, thank you. So the photographers that influenced me, definitely, of course, Godfather, Gordon Hart's, Deb Willis. A lot of people are my friends who, I've gotten a chance to know. Jamil Shabazz, he does a really great street photography work. Layla Lorraine, Sharice May, Tone Mobley. These are all people, except for, of course, Deb Willis and Gordon Parks, but these are people that I've gotten a chance to just meet and just know. And then I feel like, I like I like underground photographers. I love people that like people don't really know, you know, that I don't know, just I can just tell like they're just so authentic and genuine. So I look at like underground photography.
Yeah, like a lot of hobby shooting.
Yeah.
People that just, you know, just shoot in their spare time. Just for the love.
Yeah. So my next question is, what is the importance of a photograph? And as a medium of cultural expression, why is the photograph so important? How does it represent the culture?
It's very important. It captures, it freezes time. It freezes time for that specific moment. So if you witness that moment, then you actually can go back and see that photo. You can actually place yourself somewhere by seeing that photo. It's happened to me a couple of times. It's a really big thing in documentation, just being in the right place at the right time. When something's happening, it's just capture it.
Yeah. For me, photography is so important. In fact, I was just complaining to someone because I noticed like sometimes the businesses they'll have like a big budget for everything, but when it comes to photographs, they're like, oh, we have a small budget, and I'm just like, photographs are the most important thing ever. Like it's going to outlive us all. So I think people need to invest more in photographs. Like it freezes a moment. You know what I mean? We can't go back to that moment. 2020, we can't go back to that moment. The 1960s. Yesterday, we took a picture even. You can't go back to that moment. It freezes time. Like how cool is that? So that's why I love still photography. And also I just feel like with film, like we're leading the audience, you're telling the audience a story, and of course they're listening to that story, they're seeing that story, but when you look at a photograph, I feel like people can come to that still image. They come with their own perspective. Everyone is going to see something different in that photograph for some reason. That's just been my experience with it. Yeah, just using one powerful moment.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you wish other artists understood about your work?
That you're not a public person.
About my work. I wish that people would understand that, number one, like I choose to document community. I choose to do like documentary photography. What I want people to understand is that I cannot be put in a box. Like, don't categorize me. Don't say that Dee is this specific type of photographer, because I can go anyway. And then I want people to understand that with my work, it represents humanity. That's what I do. I put humanity first. I'm also a photojournalist. So I work with WAMU, UCS. NPR is our sister company, so you'll see a lot of my work with NPR as well. The game of photojournalism has definitely come a long way. I do feel like, for me, I just want people to know that I put humanity first. Like, I'm not there to just make money off a photo. And a lot of people that follow my work, they know that. They do.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Definitely. I think I also feel that for me, that if someone doesn't, like my work because colors are too bold or something like that, then that's my style. There are artists who can facilitate, I guess, dreams, but I choose that. So getting the general public and other people to understand that they not always comment, this is a little too bold, it's a little too colorful. And I understand. I've taken natural photos with people like this. Sometimes that's pretty much what I prefer. So
Yeah.
I understand.
So it seems like we're running out of time.
Yep.
I guess we can go on into like where people can find our work. Is everyone on Instagram? Okay. So let's pull out our phones. Because if we don't do it now, then we're not gonna do it. We're gonna, I don't know, me, I care. Thumbs up when you're ready. I used to be an arts educator as well, so thumbs up when you're ready. All right, I see thumbs up. Okay, I see this side, thumbs up, okay. So for my Instagram handle, you can go to Dee, double D, so D-E-E, and then that's DWYERJONTS. Thumbs up if you all got it. Got it? Okay.
All right. And for me, it's going to be Viva_Ventura, VIVA_VENTURA.
Y'all got Viva? Thumbs up if y'all have Viva.
Viva_Ventura. So I'll say it one more time. VIVA_VENTURA. And I actually be taking some photos out here this evening.
Oh, you also see your images where?
I think right across the halls, I think some of my images are playing over there, so if you wanted to check them out. But I'll be shooting this event later on, as soon as I get out of here.
Yeah, so we're all good. Y'all, thank y'all for coming through, sitting back.
Thanks for watching this video from NEXTfest Culture and Conversation series, presented by CapitalBop. There is no way to fully replicate the spirit of those days at NEXTfest, but we are so glad to have this curated archive to share with you. At CapitalBop, our mission is to promote, present, and preserve the sound and soul of DC. To stay connected, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, or find us at CapitalBop.com. Be sure to subscribe to CapitalBop's YouTube channel for more content like this. And again, that's CapitalBop with an A, CapitalBop.com. Maybe I'll catch you at the next show.